Tengen Uzui will soon bless us with his presence in Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles. What seems to be the final DLC character for this game should be coming out pretty soon. But how will the character play, given how the game works? Today we'll dive deep into Tengen's playstyle, analyze the moves he does in the show, and how many of those will make it into the game. What type of character are we getting? I've done the homework, and now I want to share it with you. We'll definitely cover Tengen on the channel once the DLC finally releases, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're subscribed. Click the button down below. We're gonna have a character review and a DLC review as well if you comes with a little bit of story. And if you're worried about spoilers for this video, here's the deal. I'm only gonna talk about stuff that has already happened in the anime. So if you're caught up, you are completely safe. That said, if you're not caught up, this is mostly gonna be spoiler free at the start. There's no problem watching, and then I'll let you know when it gets spoilery. Okay, so in general, I can see Tengen being a mix of a few characters that are actually already in the game. I can see an Akaza mixed in with Inosuke and Rui, and if that sounds like a weird mix, it will all make sense very soon. First, why Akaza? The reason is simple: speed. Tengen is a ninja. Throughout the show, even outside of combat, you can see him simply vanishing from sight. He's a fast and very agile character, just like they made Akaza in-game. Akaza has the fastest dash, he can jump in and out of range like very few characters can, and I think this would be a playstyle that would fit Tengen very, very well. Next, why Inosuke? Tengen chooses to utilize a dual-wielding swordsmanship style, with two blades that are linked together by a chain. Much like Inosuke, this is going to promote wide-reaching attacks around the user's body. Tengen frequently fights like this, which reminds me a lot of Inosuke's current tilt skill. That said, Inosuke's tilt skill has really bad reach. It looks like it reaches further than it actually does, and that's when Rui comes into play. I think whenever Tengen is swinging wildly like this, the range of his attacks will be similar to Rui's normal attacks. The big difference being, not every Tengen attack is gonna have that range. He often fights with both blades in his hand. He's not always swinging the swords around, grabbing them by the chains, so his reach is often smaller. But whenever there are moves, most likely specials, that have him swinging wildly like this, the reach should be similar to Rui's. All of this together, I think, makes for a character that will be very oppressive, but not necessarily a character that will deal a ton of damage. I can see him being reset heavy and feeling very comfortable in neutral thanks to his speed, but he wouldn't be the biggest damage dealer in the game or the tankiest character for that matter. And that's how the character would play in general. From here, we're gonna talk about specific moves. So if you haven't watched the anime yet, this is where the spoilers are gonna begin. I appreciate you guys watching this far, but Demon Slayer's too good. Don't let this video spoil you. 3, 2, 1! Let's start with the attack buttons. In Demon Slayer, every character has a string of 3 attacks plus a finisher. There's a neutral finisher, an upwards finisher, and a downwards finisher. For his first 3 attacks, I think he would have some very standard slashes, holding both of his swords on hand. He should definitely have a couple of attack flurries in his string because he's not the type of character to throw a single heavy attack, but instead throws a lot of attacks in quick succession. By the 3rd attack, I think he could let go of the blades and just start swinging them with a chain for that extra flair that Tengen is so well known for. After that, if you're finishing the combo while not tilting the stick in any way, you would get this big horizontal slash. It's simple, and I think it's perfect for a neutral finisher. His upwards finisher would also have some range, as it starts with the blade itself swinging upwards from the chain, followed by this kick that he lands on Daki. Pretty iconic moment, has to be a part of his moveset. And for his down combo, we have the moment when Gyutaro first shows up. Without hesitation, Tengen dashes and slashes simultaneously. He missed the attack in the show, but he wouldn't miss it in game. He would side switch and everything just to convey that sense of speed while he knocks the opponent down to the ground. While in the air, not gonna lie, I did have some trouble finding aerial attacks, but I think in the end it will be pretty similar to his attacks on the ground. Fairly standard attacks from close range with both swords in hand. That said, for the dive kick, I found this pretty cool moment. One of those when Tengen gets really close to taking the demon's head as he dives to protect one of his wives. What a cool dive attack. For his strong attack, I think they could actually go a little bit crazy. I'm choosing this moment when Tengen throws a bunch of bombs into the air and then jumps and spins like crazy, causing a bunch of explosions. This strong attack would catch a pretty wide area, but nothing the game hasn't done before. I mean, just look at Rui's strong attack. And it might surprise you to know that we're still not done with his attack buttons. Every time I make one of these videos, I remember just how much there is to each character before we even get to talk about their special moves or their ultimate. Because before all that stuff, there is one more combo finisher, which is the one you get when you boost. For me, this would be Tengen's first combat action in the show, when he arrives underground and slices up Daki's sash. A flash of light speed attacks, combo finished. And then if you want to go into Surge, I think the animation would have Tengen showing off with his weapon for a bit, spinning them around, and if it's possible, I'd like to see this effect effect replicated in-game when he uses enhanced hearing to locate any survivors inside this building before he blows it up. If we can have that little show-off dance followed by a flash of this effect, then the surge animation is just perfect. Finally, the grab. Because this is a very uplifting and easygoing character, maybe add a little bit of comedy on the grab. Tengen grabs their opponent and then punches them in the gut, just like he did with Zenitsu right when he showed up. And that's all of his normal moves done. Let's move on to his specials. Finally, first up, sound breathing, first form, roar. Tengen lifts both of his swords above his head and then slams them down with great force, while simultaneously creating an explosion with his bombs. Tengen does this move over and over, trying to reach the underground where the fight is actually taking place. This would be a cool special move if you're able to choose how many times you do it. Just like right now in game, you are able to choose if you throw 1, 2, or 3 projectiles with a single bar of meter with multiple characters. You would choose to smash your opponent once, twice, or 3 times, and that would make your pressure a bit more unpredictable if the opponent happens to block it. Next up, sound breathing, 5th form, string performance. Tengen advances while spinning his cleavers and releasing numerous bombs to detonate. It would be a very destructive and advancing move with a pretty wide range, something that would feel kind of unstoppable unless the opponent has an armored or invincible move. And then for his guard skill, we would have bombs. This would be Tengen's reversal. He jumps back and throws some bombs on the stage, knocking the opponent up if he gets the hit. A bit like Susamuru's tilt demon skill, except Tengen would remain on the ground. But if you think of Susamuru's temari as bombs, you can kinda see what the idea is. So for his specials, we gave him a simple attack that he can choose to repeat or not, a forward advancing move with very good range, and a reversal with the bombs. Feels like a pretty complete character to me. Don't forget, the first 2 abilities can also be assists, and that 5th form string performance looks like a pretty damn good assist to me. But a moveset wouldn't be complete without an ultimate move, and for this one, I want the wives to join in. I think as soon as the ultimate lands, you could see a wife combo attack. They're ninja, they fight with kunai, so let them land a couple of attacks before Hinatsuru shows up with that crossbow, raining down a barrage of kunai. From there, we see Tengen emerge with sound breathing, 4th form, constant resounding slashes, a show of lights, bombs, sword slashes to finish off an opponent. And I would absolutely love it if they went a step further with this ultimate and gave it a special effect. If Tengen lands this ultimate on a demon opponent, for the rest of the round, the health regeneration they get from boosting or surging would be denied, because during the ultimate animation, Hinatsuru hit them with a kunai, denying their regeneration. It would only last for 1 round, so I don't think it would be overpowered that way, and usually using ultimates when you're not finishing off an opponent is a pretty bad idea, so this would at least give you a reason to do it early in the round. Finally, if he wins the battle, this victory pose would be pretty badass. To summarize, Tengen would be a fast character with pretty normal attacks at first, that later evolve into longer range attacks in his combo strings. His strong attack would cover a wide area thanks to the bombs and slashes he does, and for special moves we have the 1st form of sound breathing, the 5th form of sound breathing, and a retreating move that throws some bombs. Finally, for his ultimate, his wives make an appearance before Tengen finishes it all with sound breathing, 4th form. And that's the moveset for Tengen. As usual, I like to have fun with these movesets, so it's not like I think this is how the character will play. It's not exactly a prediction. Rather, it's looking at what the character does in the show and seeing how the developers could interpret it in the game. Let me know if you enjoyed the moveset though. Is there anything you would change, anything you would add? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye!